welcome to another video. I'm Jenny and welcome to my final Jacqueline Wilson reading vlog. So apologies if the lighting and stuff is a bit bad. It is currently 10 to 11 at night. I should be in bed. I'm only filming this because I have makeup on because I've been doing a presentation today. And I went to edit this vlog and realised that I don't have an intro clip, which I'm sure I filmed. I just don't know what I did with it. So all of that to say, I'm filming it again now. Anyway, this is my final Jacqueline Wilson reading vlog and I will be reading the Girls series. Girls in Love, Girls Under Pressure, Girls Out Late, Girls in Tears, and then finally Think Again by Jacqueline Wilson, one of my most anticipated reads. I'm very excited. So if you have no idea what I'm talking about, I have over the summer been doing a Jacqueline Wilson reading vlog series. So I've read favourites from my childhood, I've read some of her YA books, that wasn't so successful. I've read books that are new to me, I've read some of her historicals, and now I'm reading the Girls. So the Girls series is a YA series. We follow three best friends, Ellie, Magda and Nadine, and it's just basically their life. So they start off at age 13 in book one, and they've pretty much, I think all of them has turned 14 by the time we've got to book four. At least Magda and Nadine have. Ellie is younger, so she may not have, but again, they're just that sort of age year 9, you know, kind of that awkward early teens. I am going to actually just kind of caveat this whole video right now and just say these books were written in the late 90s. I'm going to be reading them with the understanding that they were written in like 98, 99. So while there are some parts, there will be language choices, there will be subject choices that I disagree with now in 2024, I'm going to read them as they were intended to be read in 1999. So this is kind of what I'm getting at, okay? I'm not going to judge the book for the time that it was written. So I'm trying to read it sympathetic to the time it was written. I don't know if that made sense. I'm very sleepy. The series was so special to me growing up. It meant a lot to me as an early teen. So I'm really hoping that it holds up. I did read Girls in Love a couple of years ago and it didn't hold up as well as I thought it did. However, I think I've got myself back into kind of Jacqueline Wilson's like writing style over the last few months, so I'm hoping that I can feel a little bit more positive towards it. But yeah, basically I'm gonna read these books, read Think Again, and that's about it really. I'm sorry, that's such a bad intro. Let's just get started, shall we? Oh, let's not show my address. I've got book mail! Very, very excited for this. I know exactly what it is. Because it's in this vlog, you can probably guess what it is, but let's open it up. I have opened it already. But we have got... Oh, that's the back. So I've got the standard edition. My friend Lex opened hers yesterday and she's got a special edition which has got like a half dust jacket. This one has got a normal dust jacket. But we've got this beautiful like dice motif foiled naked hardback. I'm so excited. Like, do you know what? I don't really even want to read the synopsis because I don't care. I'm going to read this book anyway. Yeah, I'm so excited. I need to start reading the Girls series now. Hello, it is Saturday and I've just finished reading Girls in Love. So these books are very short. This one is like 150 pages. So I do want to say, again, and I know I said this earlier, this book was written in the late 90s. A lot of the content I wouldn't expect to be written in 2024. However, I am going to read it with a sympathetic view to the fact that it was written in the 90s and isn't written today. So the first thing that I do want to mention is the weight and body image. Now I know that that is dealt with more in book 2, so I'm not going to sort of say, I'm not going to get an opinion on that yet in this book. I do think that it is good that there have been like a few times when Ellie's gone, oh, I'm so fat, and multiple people have said, no, you're not, like, you're fine. And I do think as well that the media in the late 90s, early 2000s did really feed into teenagers that if you were anything other than a skeleton, you were too fat. So in this one, our girls are having their first boyfriends. So we've got Nadine, who has met this guy called Liam. So the girls are all 13. In year 9, they're 13, they're turning 14. Liam is 17. Now, what I think is done really well in this one is that as soon as Nadine mentions that Liam is 17, both Magda and Ellie go, that's too old. What are you doing? And when Liam does try to pressure Nadine into going further, they tell her that she's, that she should not do that. They're really looking out for her, and they do end up actually like pulling her away and being like, no, you need to get out. Liam is an absolute creep, like complete paedophile vibes. And again, I would like to see Liam have some comeuppance. I know Liam turns up again in later books. He doesn't turn up as a boyfriend again. And I don't remember what happens with him, but I know we do see him again. But I would like Liam to have some form of, there to be some sort of retribution for the fact that Liam is a 17-year-old preying on 13-year-old children. But I'm not holding my breath. Then we've got Magda. She basically finds a guy from school at the bus stop and is like, you're going to be my boyfriend now. Which, fine. They don't really do anything, they snog, and that's again, like, age appropriate. Cool. Ellie meets this guy on the street who she thinks is really good looking. She also met a guy on holiday who's very dorky. And so she tells everybody that she has this boyfriend called Dan and explains the boy that she met on holiday, except she describes the boy, the cute boy that she met on the street, rather than Dan that she met on holiday. I did really enjoy it. Of course I did. Again, I do think there is quite a few things that aren't dealt with how I would like them to be dealt with in 2024, but are realistic to the conversations and things that happened in 2000, 99, 2000. I guess homophobic language, or what we would see now as homophobic language, but 25 years ago was language that was used, that was used in general rather than as a homophobic slur. So, for example, seeing drag queens and calling them something, I don't want to say the word, and again using homophobic slurs to insult the girls because they want to hang out together. So again, that sort of language I wouldn't expect to see in a book in 2024, but was common in 25 years ago. So I'm not going to sort of downgrade the book for that. It is one thing that I do feel like, and I think that the teenage books from the 90s is actually one of the hardest times, because the language used is very different to how we would talk now. But I don't want to penalise a book because it's not using language that we would expect to see 25 years in the future. But likewise, I don't want to sort of recommend a book if it isn't, if it does have problematic elements. So with Girls in Love, I did really enjoy it. I think it is one of those that you do have to read with a sympathetic lens, as, you know, being aware of the fact that it was written 25 years ago. I don't think there was anything in it that is written in a way that was problematic at the time. There is stuff that, you know, we wouldn't expect to see written like that today, but again, I feel like it's done a pretty good job. I'm very excited to move on to book 2, Girls Under Pressure. So Girls Under Pressure is, this one is the one that I guess I'm most nervous about. This one, we've got Ellie is going on a diet. So I'll read out the synopsis. It's diet time for me. I'm just so horribly, hugely FAT. This time I'm sticking to it, no matter what. Or they'll be calling me Ellie the elephant if I'm not careful. My friends Nadine and Magda think I'm mad, but it's alright for them. Nadine looks like a model and has the chance to be a real cover girl. Magda is drop dead gorgeous, though boys always seem to get the wrong idea about her. So we do have, this one does deal a lot with eating disorders. So when I was 13, 14, I had an eating disorder. So for me, this one does hit quite hard. So I am hoping that it is going to deal with everything in a sympathetic way. So this one is my next book. I will check in with you.
You're still not well, chum. Anna said you were horribly sick in the night, says Dad. I'm okay. I just don't fancy anything to eat yet. Are you sure? Maybe I'll go back to bed in a bit, okay? It'll be easier avoiding food upstairs. And if I can sleep, I won't be feeling so starving hungry all the time. Well, we were planning on eating out at lunchtime and then maybe having a little jaunt somewhere, says Dad. To see some pictures, Dad says Eggs. Look at my picture, Ellie. See what it is? Yes, macaroni and sultanas, very fetching, I say. You lot go out, that's fine with me, I'll just flop around. But I haven't got any food in for your lunch, Ellie, says Anna. I missed out on the big Saturday shop because I was seeing Sarah. I'll cook myself some eggs or something, it's okay, I say. It's a lady, Ellie, can't you see? The macaroni is all her curls, and the sultanas are her eyes, and her nose and her smiley mouth, see? Well, she's got a dirty nose and very black teeth, and she's having a seriously bad hair day, I say. Don't be mean to him, says Dad, giving me a little nudge. Come out with us, eh? You'll feel better for a bit of fresh air. No, thanks. Nadine rings around 12, pained that I haven't phoned her back. She wants to come round this afternoon, and she's still burbling about her hair and her makeup and her clothes, in case she gets selected as a spicy cover girl. Nadine, look, wait till they get in touch with you, right? I'm not quite bitchy enough to add, maybe they won't, but I imply it. I want to be prepared, Ellie. Please can I come round? Nadine lowers her voice. My gran and granddad are here, and this happy family's laugh is getting way too heavy for me. They're all gathered round Natasha just watching her, as if she's a little television set or something. And my God, is she performing with her volume turned right up. Oh, Nad, I say weeping. Look, I don't know what help I can be. I'm no expert when it comes to makeup and stuff. Why don't you go and see Magda? I expect Nadine to say that she and I are best friends from way back, and that she wants to plan it all with me. Then I'll swallow the last sour jealousy pill and ask her over and fuss around her like a real friend. I'll try terribly hard not to mind that she's got serious model girl potential and I'm just her fat freaky friend. Oh, I've tried Magda. She's so great with makeup. I thought she'd maybe trim my hair for me too. But she's going out with this guy she met at the soda fountain. Not the one she really fancied. This is his friend. But life's like that. Anyway, I can come over, Ellie, can't I? Straight after lunch. I take a deep breath. Sorry, Nadine. We're going out for lunch and then on up to town somewhere, I say. See you tomorrow at school. Bye. You're coming, Dad calls from the kitchen. Great. I wish you would...
Hello, it is later, it's about 6 p.m. now. I've just finished reading Girls Under Pressure. So I've audiobooked these first 2 books while I have been crocheting. So I have crocheted this much. I'm making a book sleeve. So yeah, Girls Under Pressure. Like I was saying earlier, when I was a teenager, I did have an eating disorder. So for me, Girls Under Pressure hits different. It makes me very sad for the girl that I was. I do think that Jacqueline Wilson's representation of disordered eating and body dysmorphia is brilliant. I remember having all of those thoughts that Ellie has of looking in the mirror and just seeing fat, of every time you see any person, you just see them as how fat they are, which is just horrible. Like I said, it just makes me so sad for the girl that I was. I did cry a few times just because, again, I think it is done really, really well. I also think that the situation with Magda, where a group of boys tried to sexually assault her, and how she then feels that people just see her as a slag because of her clothes and her hair and things like that. And again, that makes me very sad as well. I think that it's actually, like I said, I think it's all been handled very well. I don't know, because obviously I've only got the old 90s editions, but I wouldn't be surprised if in the new editions there's like eating disorder helplines and advice and things like that in there. But yeah, I feel like everything was handled well, because even by the end, when Ellie has seen the end results of anorexia, and is sort of starting to think, no, I'm not going to get that way. I'm strong. I am fine by myself. I don't need to lose weight. Everything doesn't need to be about my weight. I liked that it wasn't like an immediate switch, because I feel like sometimes, you will see that where, a main character's anorexic and then they're like, I'm all better now. And it doesn't work like that. It doesn't. It is a mental illness that will be with you for life. So I don't remember how much it crops up in Girls Out Late and Girls in Tears. And I do wonder as well if in Think Again, there will still be inklings of Ellie, again, having those intrusive thoughts. But yeah, I really liked that one. I think I prefer Girls Under Pressure to Girls Out Late, just because I feel like, no, Girls Out Late, Girls in Love, just because I feel like it hits me so much more. Like, it gave me a lot of emotional reactions, whereas Girls in Love didn't. And there were some things in Girls in Love that, like I said, I didn't think were handled fantastically, or how I would like to see them handled now. But Girls Under Pressure, to be honest, there wasn't anything that I was like, problematic. Yeah, it made me sad, but it was a really good book. I am probably not going to, so my next one's Girls Out Late. I'm probably not going to start that one now, because I did Saturday evening. I'm probably, it's 7:00, it's later than I thought. I'm probably not going to start reading Girls Out Late. I'm probably going to wait for that one for tomorrow. But yeah, I think so far I haven't rated either of the books yet. I don't know if I will rate these. Probably will. I feel like Girls in Love feels like a kind of 3.5, maybe a low 4. Girls Under Pressure probably feels more like a 4.5. I'm not sure if it's 5 stars. I don't know, I need to think on it. But yeah, 2 books down, 2 books to go, then I get to go on to Think Again. So I'm going to probably watch Gilmore Girls. I'm going to take Bracken out for her evening walk, and I'm probably going to watch Gilmore Girls for the rest of the night. I have got, I don't know if you can see here, I have got a curled up sleepy Bella here, and a curled up sleepy Bracken there, which does mean that it's very difficult and I can't actually physically leave the sofa, so that's tricky. I was just saying I might not start Girls Out Late tonight, but I've got quite a lot on tomorrow. I might read Girls Out Late today, just so it's done, and I've only got 1 book to read tomorrow. Not that it matters, like, I am in no rush to read these books. I just was going to get them read this weekend. But yeah, that was my fairly rambly update, and I will, like I said, next read, whether it's tonight or tomorrow, is going to be Girls Out Late. I'm going to read a synopsis. 9:00. That's when I have to be home. Dad thinks it's not safe any later. But then the most amazing magical thing happens. Out with my best friends, drop dead gorgeous Magda and super cool Nadine, I meet a boy. And it's me he's interested in. Me, plain, plump Ellie. But will Russell stay interested in a girl who has to be home by 9? Stay out later than late with Ellie and her friends in this sparky and true to life story. Yeah, I'm excited to read this one. Oh, that was the other thing that I thought was, well, again, made me sad. In Girls Under Pressure, the Dan storyline, where he just rocks up with a girlfriend, and I was just like, oh, Dan, you dick. Oh, poor Ellie. And like, it's things like that which just makes me kind of go like, I just want to give Ellie a big hug, basically. But on to Girls Out Late after I've taken Bracken out, and I will catch up with you whenever. Hello, I lied to you earlier. It is still Saturday night, 11:15, and I've just finished reading Girls Out Late. I will say, I've read all 3 of these on audio. They're all like 4 hours on audio. I'm reading at like 2, I read them normally about 1.52 times speed, so that's why I've read them all, like 3 books in an evening, because with them being on audio, they've been like 2.5 hours each. I mean, which is still a lot of books to read in a day, but you know, whatever. We don't judge here. Anyway, so Girls Out Late. This one, okay, a couple of things I want to say. First of all, I really like that Ellie has a boyfriend. I like that sort of, that she's becoming the desirable one. I also really liked how Magda and the teacher relationship was handled. That is how a student-teacher relationship should have been handled. The student, Magda, threw herself at the teacher, and the teacher said, whoa, 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 no. No, 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 no. You're a very nice girl, but you're a student. I am a teacher. This is illegal. Not happening. No. Professional, kind, shuts it down. Jacqueline Wilson, why did you write it like this in 1999 and then wrote fucking love lessons in 2005? What happened to your brain in the intervening 6 years to think that that was acceptable? Anywho, ranting over. So yeah, the student-teacher relationship I thought was handled really well in here. I also thought the girls do some really stupid things in here. Like they wander off with some strangers in the middle of London, go back to these, like, get into some strange men's van and go back to their flat, which, yeah, absolutely, like, no. But again, Magda and Ellie were saying, Nadine, this is a bad idea, we can't do this. Nadine was like, I'm doing it, don't care about you guys, I'm doing it anyway. I'm going to try and, that might be so better. And so the girls were like, right, well, we can't leave you by yourself, so we're going to have to come with you because we can't leave you by yourself. So, stupid thing to do, but they knew it was a stupid thing to do, and they made sure that they were as safe as they could be in that stupid situation. So again, appreciate that. Liam turns up again in this one, and Liam's absolutely awful. He is now dating a year 8, so what, a 12-year-old? But Nadine speaks to the girl and sort of, she manages to kind of close the Liam chapter by talking to this younger girl and kind of helping the younger girl see how much of a dangerous person Liam is. Now again, I don't remember Girls in Tears. I honestly don't remember the plot of it in the slightest. I don't know if I've read it more than once, 20 years ago. So I don't know if Liam turns up again, and I don't think there is any, like, we're going to go to the police about Liam, but there should be. He needs to be locked up. And again, I feel like Liam that character and that situation has been dealt with in a way that is better than it's been dealt with in other Jacqueline Wilson books. Love lessons is what I'm talking about here. Same with like things like student-teacher relationships and like older, basically any kind of age inappropriate relationship, bearing in mind these are 13-year-old girls. So really, any relationship is an inappropriate relationship, in my opinion. One thing I don't like is I do not like Russell. I didn't like the way that he was so demanding that Ellie go to the dance with him, even though she'd already arranged to go to this concert with her friends, and that he's very much but I'm more important than your friends. Again, this is probably just my own trauma, but I don't like reading about that. But yeah, I don't remember, again, like I said, I don't remember the plot of Girls in Tears, so I don't know what happens in the Russell storyline, but I do hope that even if they remain together, that Russell can be made to understand that Ellie's girlfriends are, I guess, more important than he is, and that girlfriends are for life, a boyfriend is just for Christmas. But yeah, another great one. Again, I'm holding it upside down. I haven't rated any of these three yet. I think like I said earlier, Girls in Love feels like it's going to be about 3.5, maybe 4. Girls Under Pressure, 4.5, probably 4.5. Girls Out Late, probably also a 4.5. I don't feel like either of them have, okay, this is going to sound really stupid. I don't feel like either of the second two books particularly have 5-star vibes, but I feel like the series is a 5-star series. 5-star series, but no book is 5 stars. I know that doesn't make any sense, but that makes sense. You know, it's like the vibes, the nostalgia, everything about this series, 5 stars, immaculate. The individual books, not so much. But I mean, like I said, Girls Out Late and Girls Under Pressure, fantastic. I can't really put my finger on why I don't feel like these two have got 5-star vibes. Both of them have got some parts which I'm a bit like, little bit problematic, like I said, with Russell in this one. And what was my issue with Under Pressure? I mean, it's a lot of the eating disorder stuff, to be honest, in Under Pressure makes me just, I'm glad it was mentioned and dealt with, but I'm still a bit like, oh. But Girls in Love, again, I love this book, but I do feel like it is probably just a 3.5, purely because I just think that it deals with things in a way that I'm not really very comfortable with. Anyway, because like I said, it is 11 o'clock now, 10 to 11. I'm going to bed, and I will read Girls in Tears tomorrow and give you my thoughts on that one. That one is also another like 4-hour audiobook. For some reason, Think Again is a 10-hour audiobook. So, I mean, I know Think Again isn't actually a 150-page story. It's an adult full-length novel. I'm probably not going to audio Think Again. I might. To be totally honest with you, the reason that I'm audioing all of these is because I've been crocheting a lot. And I'm sort of in my like hyper-focused crocheting mood where all I'm doing is crocheting. So I'm using audiobooks so that I can actually read as well. But yeah, I don't know if I'm going to audio Think Again, because I feel like I'm going to maybe get slightly more out of it by reading it with my eyeballs. Anyway, I'm going to go to bed. I will see you in the morning and read and give you my thoughts on Girls in Tears. Hello, it is Sunday morning-ish. I've just finished reading Girls in Tears. Did make me cry. So in this one, Ellie and Russell have a fight. They have a few fights at the beginning. Nadine meets a guy online and Magda's hamster dies. So, thoughts. Not my favourite. Probably similar to like Girls in Love. It's probably around about a 3.5. I personally get big red flag vibes from Russell. I don't like that he still is insisting that he is more important than Ellie's friends and that he doesn't like her spending time with her friends. I just don't like that. I also personally get the red flag vibe from the fact that both Nadine and Magda are like, oh, don't like him. Her dad has said he's a bit of a pompous git, isn't he? You know, like, it just, everyone seems to be saying like, there's something wrong there. Ellie doesn't see it, and that just gives me red flags about Russell. But so it does mean I am interested in Think Again. Is Russell going to be involved? I really hope not. I kind of hope that there's Russell was a school boyfriend and not great. So Nadine is meeting this guy online, talking to this guy online in the chat room. She ends up meeting up with him. He is very much older. The girls fall out, so there's a party and Magda kisses Russell. And while I feel it, to be honest, it upsets me that Ellie and Russell get back together in this one. Because after he's cheated on her with Magda, I can understand becoming friends with Magda again because, you know, best friends forever and all of that. And, you know, you kind of listen to your friend's point of view and see if you can understand where they came from. But the boyfriend, no, and again, it's that sort of red flag thing of I just don't like the fact that he has creeped his way back in. Yeah, did enjoy this one. Again, it's like a 2-hour read. It's a very short book. I am now going to start Think Again, and I'm excited. Yeah. At the end of this one, they do sort of, like, Ellie and Russell are back together. They're sort of restarting their relationship. So it literally ends by saying, it won't be the same. It'll be different. It could be better. We'll have to wait and see. ... So I feel like my predictions with Think Again is I think that it is going to sort of start with maybe what happened with Russell. I feel like Russell and Dan are going to be mentioned. And probably maybe are going to appear as characters. That's my theory. I don't think we're going to see any of Magda or Nadine's boyfriends. But yeah, I am excited to read Think Again. So yeah, Girls in Tears, probably around about 3.5. It's more, I feel like it's more emotional than the others. But my other kind of like critique is while Ellie is very adamant that she doesn't want to do anything more than kissing with Russell. She is 13. And so the fact that Russell, who I think is 15 or 16, is trying to do more than kissing with her, it does make me feel a little bit icky. I also really don't like how Nadine says in there, oh, I couldn't date a schoolboy. Nadine's 14. She's had her birthday. She's 14. But still thinking that, you know, she could only date someone who's like 17 or older. No, like you can fancy older guys, but no, you're a child. And that for me is the kind of like, I would like the girls to be, it's like I liked Ellie and Dan's relationship because that for me was quite a realistic 13-year-old relationship where they hold hands, they've kissed once or twice but nothing else, they're not going to go anywhere else because they're only 13. Whereas with Ellie and Russell, I can see him forcing her into things. And again, this is something that I feel like Jacqueline Wilson as an author needs to have the responsibility, in that in the UK anyway, sex is illegal under 16. Sex with under 16s is illegal. So she should be making it quite clear that as a 13, 14-year-old, you should not be trying to have sex with someone, or you should not be thinking about having sex with someone. That's something you wait until you're older. And I know that makes me sound incredibly like pious, but I do also think that you have got to, as an author, you are influencing the readers, and I think you have got to have that responsibility. And again, none of the girls have had sex, but they do talk about it quite a lot. And yeah, I kind of would like to see there being a little bit more responsibility there, I guess. But girls series is done. On to think again. And let's start reading. Very excited. Hello. I'm 64 pages into Think Again. So it's Ellie's 40th birthday. She's just made a new friend, and now she's at a birthday party with all of her old friends. So obviously we've got Nadine and Magda. Her school teacher, Mrs. Henderson, is there. All of her family are there. Russell has been invited, but Russell was a dick, so yay. Thank you everybody for acknowledging that. Now, I'm really liking it. Okay, I am really liking it. However, two things. And maybe this is just because I have just read the first 4 books, but just two things for continuity. There's a line that Ellie says that she gave her Nellie the elephant that her mum made her to Lottie. No, she threw away Nellie the elephant, well, when Eggs was sick in her when she was a little girl, and she's regretted throwing away Nellie the elephant. And Mrs. Henderson says that the art teacher, Mr. Windsor, is called Gary. Again, no, in Girls Out Late, he's introduced as Guy. And I know I'm being picky, and I'm not going to let these things like impact my enjoyment, but I do just, it is something that does annoy me when an author, you know, things like, if you knew that he was a G name, give him the name that you gave him before. Like, I don't know, it annoys me when an author doesn't have that continuity. For me personally, it takes me out of the story. And I know that's silly, and I know that it won't impact, most people won't notice, but for me, like I said, it takes me out of the story, and it does impact my enjoyment. But enjoying it so far. Hello, I'm about to be jumped on by a small dog, so there she is. Okay, I have just finished reading Think Again. I have thoughts, and I also need to sit with my thoughts for a bit. So, I feel like I don't want to give spoilers, but I feel like there's some things in here that felt a bit. I felt like her publishers had said, hey, you're not diverse enough. I think there's a reason that Alice is specifically mentioned as black. And I feel like her brother, Ben, being married to a man, it just sort of... Both Ben and Simon are very two-dimensional characters. I know nothing about Simon other than he is gay and married to Ben. And I know nothing about Ben the adult, other than in the other books he was called Eggs. And I do think it's a bit like, I feel like there would be times in sort of family situations when they'd have called him Eggs. You know, like childhood nicknames. Yes, you grow out of them, and you know, all of your friends, and as you grow up, your colleagues and everyone else will call you your, you know, your real name, but your family will still kind of like refer to you as a childhood nickname. So it was strange that like the name Eggs was never mentioned again. But yeah, I feel like Ben and Simon were incredibly two-dimensional, and again, I felt like they were only gay to kind of tick a box. The other the I also felt like Nadine and Magda didn't really feel very rounded either. To be honest, I didn't feel like any of the characters felt particularly rounded. So yeah, like I will say, I should probably have started off by saying this. I did really enjoy it. I did really like it. I love being back with those characters. But I do think that a lot of that is nostalgia rather than, if I was reading this without the nostalgia, I probably wouldn't rate it. But with the nostalgia, I do really enjoy it. And I feel like there's going to be I feel like Jacqueline Wilson is going to continue this series and is going to probably publish another. There's a couple things that I wish were tied up that weren't. Like, things like the early boyfriends who were such a big part of the girls series. You know, it would have been so easy to have had a girly catch up with Nadine and Magda, and you know, see a guy with dark hair and go, "Ooh, he's hot. Do you remember that Liam you dated?" Or, "Oh, did you hear that Liam's been arrested for paedophilia?" You know, like, I feel like there'd have been it would have made sense to have mentioned some of the previous boyfriends, and kind of just as like a kind of nod back to the trilogy. This feels, if to be honest, it kind of feels like a fan fiction. Like, it feels like it's been written by someone. It doesn't feel like it's been written by the same author that wrote the girls trilogy. And I don't mean in like the voice or anything, but just in the way that we've taken these characters and we've put them in you know, as 40-year-olds, rather than we've extended the existing series. I don't know if that completely makes sense. I'll be honest now. This reminds me of, does anyone remember the third Bridget Jones book? Not the film. I think the film was Bridget Jones's Baby, which was fairly shit, but the book was something different and was unbelievably shit. I remember reading the book, and in practically every other scene, Bridget's going, "Oh, everything's so dark, and miserable. Oh, I'm wearing my sunglasses inside again." It's like, it wasn't really funny the first time. It definitely wasn't funny the 10th time. And this feels slightly like that, where it feels just slightly kind of forced personality. I don't know what I think about it. I'm going to sit with my thoughts, and I'm going to come back to you and give you like more thoughts later. So you can probably tell I've got an excited Bracken and a squeaking Bella in the background. So they are both hungry. It actually is past their dinner time. So I'm going to feed them. But yeah, I'm unsure. I'll go back to you. Hello. It is much later. Apologies. You will hear Bella screeching. It's 9 p.m. and she thinks that it's time for her to go outside. It isn't. It's dark. She doesn't go out at night. But she is annoying. Anywho, hey boo. Speak of the devil, biggest. So my final thoughts on Think Again. I have now sat with it for a while. I still haven't rated it. But where I'm sort of feeling with Think Again, it feels like a fanfic. Like, not only with some of the lack of continuity that I've mentioned already. Don't scratch, Bella. Don't scratch. But also just the way it's written feels like a fanfic. It doesn't feel like an author writing in her own world. However, I do think that this is Jacqueline Wilson telling her story rather than she had a specific urge to revisit the Girls series. Because I'll be totally honest, I think if Jacqueline Wilson was going to revisit any series, it would be Tracy Beaker. And I know that's been done a lot in like the TV show and stuff, but I think Tracy Beaker is kind of more what she's most famous for rather than Girls. Anyway, yeah. I think I was saying earlier that if I was rating it for itself, I probably wouldn't be given a very high rating. The nostalgia feels adds a lot to it. I think, to be honest, it's probably gonna come out about a 3.5. Like, I enjoyed it and I liked the nostalgia, but there was quite a lot that I was like not the biggest fan of, which does make me sad. But like I said, I had fun reading it. I had a fun time. I liked seeing this version of the Girls, and maybe I need to see it as a fan fiction rather than canon and be like, this is one imagining of what Ellie's life is like when she's 40. I guess I felt a bit like none of the girls, they were all kind of drifting. And, you know, Nadine worked in a bar and slept around and just lived by herself and nothing really happened. And it does sort of fit in with the girl that we knew in the series, or who kind of, you know, was attracted to the bad boys. But stop scratching, please, Bella, stop scratching. But it also, and like, I'm not saying that I wanted her to be like married with 3 kids, but I feel like it would have been quite good if she had, you know, if there's mention that she'd had like a long-term relationship, or that she'd done something, but she just seemed to be living. She and Ellie were both living the life of a 20-year-old, to be honest. They were living a life of a student, and it just seems a bit strange. Magda is on her 3rd husband and is pregnant, and again, so is slightly more. Will you stop scratching? Is slightly more settled, but again, they feel like Magda's settling rather than with him because he's the one. And yeah, I guess, I don't know. I guess I liked Magda's story. I felt like Nadine's was a bit of a cop-out, and same with Ellie, to be honest. I feel like given her a 19-year-old daughter was so that the daughter wasn't in the picture. Yeah, I feel like, which then kind of makes me wonder what was the point of writing in a child. I also, there was just quite a lot of things that just kind of felt different to the original series, and again, enjoyable. I liked it, but parts I was like, I don't understand. So yeah, I think 3.5. It was fun, it was good, I had a good time. A little bit disappointed, but then again, my expectations were sky high for this one, so I feel like I was probably always going to be disappointed. Anyway, that is my final Jacqueline Wilson reading vlog wrapped up. So if you like this video, please leave me a like, subscribe down below. If you want to see any of the rest of my Jacqueline Wilson videos, I've popped one up here for you. And I'd love it if you subscribed, and I'll see you in the next video.